welcome to another week of Just One More Thing. I'm your host, Janessa. This is a podcast about knitting and crafting. And for anyone who's joining us for the first time, when I say knitting and crafting, I mean like mostly knitting. I also do a little bit of spinning and crochet. Those pop up probably the top three. And then every once in a while, that crafting just lets me throw in things like baking or doing something fun with my kids or trying out a new craft. They usually don't stick though. So mostly knitting, sometimes crochet, sometimes spinning. For everyone who has been joining me week after week, all my regular viewers, thanks for stopping in again. No matter you're old or new, I hope you enjoy this probably kind of short podcast this week. And listen to me ramble while you do some of your knitting or crafting yourself. So I'm trying out a little bit different camera angle. I've kind of pushed everything a little bit further back so you're not so like close up. But then that also means like you're gonna see me do a little of my crazy left hand knitting as well. So hopefully that's not distracting. I'll put it down here in a second when I'm done rambling and I start showing you the good stuff. So how's your week been? Has it been good? We have had some gorgeous fall weather where it's like really super chilly in the morning and really nice and cold overnight, but not too cold so you can like have the windows open at night and get those nice cool breezes in. It's been a little rainy, but in the afternoons it brightens up, and right now it's, as you can probably tell from this angle, it's very sunny today, which is nice, but it's not too hot. And yeah, I'm loving fall. It's my favorite season. Lots of, it just puts me in the mood to knit everything. I did mention it would be kind of a short show this week because I was super monogamous in my knitting. Pretty much just knit on one thing. Kind of started over on another project. And this, which I've got in my hands, is my mom's buffalo vest. And it's the first time I've picked it up in 2 weeks. Yeah, I need to get cracking on it. So I won't talk about it much other than to say, look, I am knitting on it. If Mom's watching, progress is slowly being made. But let's get on to the good stuff. And it's good timing because I'm at a spot where I have to start looking and I'm not just purling. I can knit and purl without looking, but I can't do pattern without looking. I'm not that good. I'm going to talk about the project that I reworked, and then I'll move on to the What the Fade, which was pretty much my monogamous project this week. So do you guys remember this yarn? It was the yarn I used to make this little guy. My overstuffed sloth. That's a baby present that is going to get put in the mail this week. I found out, and I was working on a baby blanket with this yarn that was like a cabled pattern, you might remember. It now looks like this. Because I got a call from my mom saying that the baby shower was going to be on the 30th. There was no way I was going to get that other blanket done by the 30th. So I ripped it out because I only had like a panel like that big. Ripped it out and decided to crochet a chevron pattern. So this is like the Granny Ripple pattern on Ravelry. And it's just granny stitch in a chevron pattern, so it's super simple. I'm changing colors every single row. I'm using that adorable wooden crochet hook from Wool and Thistle Homestead that I showed you guys last week. So it's working up really quickly, and maybe I'll be able to like whip it out in the next day or two and send this off with the sloth as well. If not, the blanket might be kind of a separate present, even though I kind of want them to be a set. But my whole point of ripping out the other pattern and doing this one was so that I could get it done quickly. And I think I can. This little bit here represents probably like, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours worth of working on it off and on. So, overall, I like the pattern. Not a super big fan of the yarn, but I think it looks cute, and I think it's, you know, soft enough that baby will like playing with it. Hopefully baby is not allergic to this, or it could be, it sheds a lot. That's my only kind of like reservation about using this yarn. My other problem, and maybe I know a couple of you are like diehard crocheters, that you have crocheted much more than you have knit in conversations that I've had with you. So I'm sending out this question to all of you who crochet. How do you carry yarn up the side? Can you carry yarn up the side when you crochet? Is it possible? Because I'm only changing yarn like every row, it is possible to, like, it would be feasible if I could find a decent way to carry the yarn up the side. I don't know if you can see, like right there, or some of my early on. It would be back in here maybe. So you can kind of see like a couple places where I tried to carry the yarn, but it just, the edge wasn't very neat. I didn't really find it to be working the way that I wanted. And for the life of me, I should not have ended on a gray stripe, y'all. Because I can't tell which is my cast on edge and which is, oh, this is my cast on edge down here. It's much looser. Okay, so for those like first some odd rows, I tried to carry the yarn up the side, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't look very neat to me. I don't know. Is there a way to do it? Does anyone have a tip or a trick on that? Because I would love to not, I mean, I'm weaving them in as I go. I'm crocheting the ends in. These all get snipped at the end. I don't have to do any like additional sewing. They're all in there really good. But it's just a lot to have to like cut the thread at the end of each row and add on a new one. It's my one little complaint about crochet, is that you end up with a lot of ends if you do a lot of color changing. There it is. So that was one project that I worked on, and we'll see how it goes over the next couple days. You might see it again next week. If you don't see it again, it means that I finished it and I sent it off, and I'll share pictures. So, move this out of the way. Oops. That one goes over there. Okay, now, if you don't want to be spoiled, I'm getting at the what the fade. So here's the, basically this is pretty much all else I'm going to talk about. So you got like 10 minutes of me rambling about other projects and hoping that you had a good week, and now it's all what the fade pretty much from here on out. You might like skip ahead to the very end. I might say something neat at the credits. I don't know. So, like I said, total monogamy on this project this week. When you last saw it, let me get it to a point where I can kind of unfurl. Clue 1 took us to about here, I would say. that first little fade bit. And then clue 2 is all the rest of the brioche. That's a lot of brioche. There's the right side. So this is like color 1, color 2, color 3 down in here, and then when you flip it over, you've got 4, 5, and 6. So I think when you saw it last week, I was on clue 2 and had just finished this fade part. And I had all of, from like this row here down to here, left to do when you saw it last week. And clue 3 came out Wednesday night, so I was like already way behind on the knitting, but I managed to finish clue 3 last night. So this is clue 3. I loved the brioche section, and it's nice and squishy and still on the light side, like kind of airy, because of the gauge that I was getting, and the yarn that I was using was quite thin. It was on size US 3 needles, but still a pretty loose fabric. I mean, you can see the light through that. I mean, you can see me through that. However, when I went down to the garter, the yarn, because this is nearly like you're holding it, you've got a double almost because of the yarn overs. So there's some kind of heft to the yarn a little bit, especially like up in here with the really thin ones. It's quite a bit thinner, you can see. I don't know. Anyway, I made the decision when I got down here to the garter that I was going to hold the yarn double. I don't know what made me think that, I just did. But now I'm kind of wishing maybe I hadn't. The garter to me seems like it's a lot more dense than the brioche. Maybe I should have gone up in needle size. When I was holding it single, I didn't like what I was getting with my color F and my color E. My color D, it was thick enough that I could hold it single. So I don't know. I guess I'm rambling and talking like this just to say I'm not sure. I guess maybe if I block it out quite a bit, it'll change it and open it up more. I just feel like it went from light and breezy and airy to like thick and I don't know. I'm not entirely sure about the garter section. I loved knitting it. Knitting the garter section was super easy. And I loved in her pattern, she said something like, all right, put your stretchy pants on, you know, get comfy. We're going to do a lot of garter stitch. So, and it was a lot of garter stitch, even though it's only a couple of inches. We're up to almost like 320 some stitches now, I think. So this, and we're only on clue 3 of 6. This is going to be a blanket by the time we're done with it. It's going to be huge. Because to me, like, this is shawl size. Like, I could be done right now. This could be it. And it would be a wonderful, like, wrap it around kind of a scarf shawl. So by the time we get done with this, this is going to be like a shanklet, a shawl blanket. That's what it's going to be. I'm kind of hoping that clue 4 lets us finish the fade through all 6 colors in the garter, because I'm loving that fade right now. This is color F, color E, and then I'll show you up close because then you can see it. So there was all color F, and then there's the F and E fade, and then there's all color E, and then the E and D fade. So that gray color is my next color. So yay. I'm happy with that. I do like the shawl overall. I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about the switch from light and airy to very dense garter stitch. But I'm trusting the pattern. I'm trusting that it's going to turn out okay. I'm going to hold this still for a second, so I can get a screenshot later. Because I will probably not take the time to lay this out and show it. But I need a Ravelry picture. Let's put it that way. There we go. Clue 3. I can go ahead and talk a little bit. I haven't talked about my yarns in a while. So like I said, this is number, it depends on which way you go. It's color D, and this is hand spun Shetland, a gray Shetland. And then you can kind of see what I'm saying here between, this is from Into the World, color Reinardine. And you can see the difference between those two. This one's a little heavier than this one. They're both on the thin side, but this one held double, and this one has a lot more so if you kind of look up on my forehead, you can see it better. This one has a little bit of spring. It's merino. This Shetland has a lot of spring to it. So when I hold this one single, it bunches up enough that it kind of fills in where this one doesn't. So this one I really needed to hold double. Color F was a single, and you can see that, let me get to a spot, it'll go thick, and then in spots it will get super thin. So this is one that I probably could have held by itself, but every once in a while I get to a spot where it's just cobwebby. So that's why I was holding that one double. Again, you might next week have seen where I just tear all of this out, do something crazy, and go back and hold it single because it starts bugging me so much. I don't know what to do. This one will come after D. This is color C. And it's actually a nice thick, like that one I won't have to hold double at all. It's a very nice thick fingering. And this one, no idea what it is. I know it's my hand spun. I remember spinning it. I don't remember the fiber or where I got it. None of it. It's soft like merino, so I'm assuming it's a merino of some kind. Maybe it has a little bit of silk in it. No clue. Then color B. This is from Sincerely Yours. It's that nice kind of lettucey silver green color. Again, I won't have to hold that single. I don't have to double that up. It's nice and thick. But then when we get back to A, again, that's super thin, so I'll have to hold this one double. I guess I'm just making all that up as I go along. I don't know. I'm really just rambling to fill time because it's such a short episode this week. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to these 3 colors because this one's my favorite, and so far I've only used it on like that one little starting bit. So I really want to get back and use some more of that. Anyway, we'll see what clue 4 brings on Wednesday. Next week you'll see progress on clue number 4. I don't know if clue number 4 will get done or not because, like I said, I have some other projects that I kind of need to get finished and sent off, namely the blanket. So we'll see what happens with that. But until then, I hope you guys, like I said, super short episode. I'm only at 21 minutes, and I know quite a bit of that is me, that's going to get like sped up, and it's me knitting at the front. yeah, I hope you guys have a great week. Sorry for the super short episode, and we